Attention passionate Cleveland, BROWNS FANS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Cleveland Browns' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Cleveland Browns fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Cleveland, BROWNS FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. We need to talk about one of the most talked about stories in the NFL right now, especially among Browns fans, what's happening with Deshaun Watson. It's a storyline filled with twists and uncertainties. And honestly, it has the potential to reshape the future of Cleveland's franchise in ways we might not have imagined just a few months ago. Deshaun Watson, a quarterback who was supposed to be Cleveland's next big star, the guy to finally bring a Super Bowl back to Ohio after decades of waiting, might be facing his toughest challenge yet, and possibly his final chapter with the Browns. The latest reports are alarming, and they're raising questions that go beyond just his health. They touch on legal, contractual, and team-building issues that could change everything. To understand what's happening, you need to go back a little and look at Watson's journey in Cleveland. When the Browns traded for him, it was a seismic move. They gave up a significant package of draft picks and signed him to a fully guaranteed 5-year, $230 million contract, which was a bold statement of confidence. Fans were excited, optimistic about a new era at quarterback, especially after Baker Mayfield's departure. But since then, everything that could go wrong did go wrong. Injuries, suspensions, inconsistent play, Watson's Browns tenure has been anything but smooth. And now, the latest news suggests that Watson may have played his last snap for Cleveland, at least for a while. The injury itself is devastating. During the offseason, Watson suffered a re-rupture of his Achilles tendon, a serious injury that requires lengthy recovery and rehabilitation. The situation was complicated further because he initially hurt his Achilles back in Week 7 of the 2024 season, and the re-injury has led to a second surgery, which took place in January. As of now, the prognosis is grim. Most reports indicate that Watson is expected to miss most, if not all, of the 2025 season. That's a huge blow not just for Watson's career, but for the Browns' immediate plans. The team's quarterback situation, which was already a bit uncertain, is now even more complicated. And here's where things get really interesting and potentially contentious. Mary Kay Cabot from Cleveland. Com has been covering this story closely, and on the latest episode of Orange and Brown Talk, she described Watson's current status as very confusing and convoluted. She added bluntly that she doesn't see Watson playing for the Browns anymore, at least not in the foreseeable future. That's a pretty stark statement, and it raises a question that fans are eager to see answered. What exactly does Watson's future hold? Is he done in Cleveland? Will he fight to come back? Or is this the beginning of a long and uncertain chapter? Since Watson's signing, his Browns career has been marred by more than just injuries. There's been a cloud of controversy surrounding him, stemming from legal issues and allegations that have followed him for years. After his arrival in Cleveland, he was suspended for 11 games in 2022 due to the NFL's investigation into his conduct, which was a huge distraction for the team. On the field, his performance has been inconsistent, to say the least. Over 3 seasons, Watson has played in just 19 games, throwing for a total of 365 yards, 19 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. Not exactly the numbers you'd expect from a $230 million quarterback, especially one with his talent and pedigree. In 2024, Watson managed to start only 7 games, passing for 148 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. And when you look at those stats, it's clear he struggled to find his rhythm. Not a single game surpassed 200 passing yards, which is almost unheard of for a quarterback of his caliber. It's been a frustrating, roller coaster ride for Browns fans hoping for a franchise quarterback to lead them to glory. Instead, what they've witnessed has been injury setbacks, off-field controversy, and inconsistency on the field. Adding fuel to the fire of uncertainty is Cleveland's insurance policy, which is a major factor in this puzzle. The Browns have a specific insurance policy in place that could essentially give them a way out if Watson cannot return to form. Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk explained that this policy could lead to a showdown between Watson and the franchise. If Watson gets a clean bill of health, he could potentially argue that he's ready to play, but the Browns might prefer he stays sidelined. The team's position is that they don't want him to play yet, mainly because of the risk of further injury and the financial implications tied to his contract. This could lead to a legal battle of sorts. Watson might file a grievance, claiming that he's healthy enough to play, and the Browns would argue otherwise. If Watson wins that dispute, the team could face some tough decisions, either to activate him, trade him, or release him altogether. The implications are huge because, if he's deemed healthy and the team keeps him sidelined, it could create a rift that affects not only their current roster but also their long-term planning. And that brings us to the team's quarterback situation. Cleveland currently has a mix of quarterbacks fighting for the starting spot. Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and SHEDEUR Sanders are all in the mix. But make no mistake, this is more than just a competition. It's a rebuild in progress. The Browns have been trying to find a long-term answer at quarterback for years, and despite this season's ups and downs, they're clearly looking ahead. They even traded out of the number 2 overall pick in this year's draft, sliding back to number 5, and securing a first-round pick in 2026 from the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's a strategic move, giving themselves more draft capital to possibly pick a top quarterback prospect next year. Mary Kay Cabot has been pretty clear about her belief that Cleveland will draft a quarterback in the first round of next year's draft. She says there's no way they would pass up a top-tier quarterback if one becomes available. And honestly, that makes sense. The Browns are in a rebuilding phase, and they need a franchise quarterback to stabilize everything. Even if one of their current quarterbacks impresses enough to earn the starting role this season, it's more likely a temporary fix rather than a long-term solution. The Browns are thinking ahead, and their draft strategy reflects that. Looking at the bigger picture, Cleveland's outlook for 2024 and beyond is a mix of hope and uncertainty. Their projected win total for this season is around 5.5 games, which ties them for the worst in the NFL. That's a clear sign that they're in a rebuilding phase, trying to find their identity and build a roster that can contend in the years to come. The team's management is aware of this, and they're making strategic moves to position themselves for future success, knowing that the quarterback position is critical but also incredibly difficult to nail down. The Browns have always been a team with a passionate fan base, one that's endured a lot, especially in recent years. From the heartbreak of near misses in the 2000s to the disappointment of losing seasons, Browns fans have remained loyal and hopeful. That's why this current situation with Watson is so emotionally charged. Fans want to see their team succeed, and they're eager to see if Cleveland can finally get it right at quarterback. But right now, everything is in flux. The injury to Watson has cast a shadow over the team's immediate plans, and it's opened up questions about what the future really holds. Will Cleveland stick with their current mix of quarterbacks? Will they go after a top prospect in next year's draft? Or will they try to make a trade? These are the questions fans are asking, and they're waiting for answers. And let's not forget the historical context here. The Browns have a long-standing reputation for resilience. They've faced setbacks before and come back stronger. The franchise's history is filled with moments of heartbreak and hope, and every fan hopes that this tough period will eventually give way to a new chapter of success. The team's front office is aware of this, and they're trying to navigate these turbulent waters with a clear focus on the future. They want to build a team that can compete at the highest level, but they also have to manage the delicate balance of contracts, injuries, and player development. So, as we look ahead, it's clear that the Browns are at a crossroads. The situation with Watson encapsulates the larger challenges the team faces: finding stability at quarterback, managing injuries, and building a roster capable of contending for a Super Bowl. The draft, free agency, and strategic trades will all play a role in shaping their future. And of course, the fan base will be watching every move closely, hoping that this tumultuous period will lead to brighter days ahead. Cleveland is a city that's known for its resilience, and this team, too, has shown that it can bounce back from adversity. The question now is whether they can do it quickly enough to make a real run in the next few seasons, or if this injury setback and the ongoing uncertainty at quarterback will set them back even further. This story isn't just about one player or one season. It's about a franchise trying to find its footing, rebuild trust, and finally, return to greatness. The upcoming months will be crucial. Will the Browns draft a quarterback who can lead them into a new era? Will Watson recover fully and reclaim his place as the franchise's centerpiece? Or will this be a story of what could have been? Whatever happens, Browns fans, you can be sure that the team is watching, the front office is strategizing, and the NFL landscape is shifting. The AFC North, as always, remains one of the most competitive divisions in football, and changes like these can have ripple effects across the league. So keep your eyes on Cleveland, because what's happening now could redefine the division and impact the NFL for years to come. This is a story full of hope, uncertainty, and the relentless pursuit of excellence. Fans, you are part of this journey, and your passion is what drives the team forward. Stay tuned for more updates because I'll be right here, bringing you the latest news, analysis, and insights into the Cleveland Browns and everything NFL related. And now, Cleveland Browns fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cleveland Browns. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Cleveland Browns news.